Good evening, everybody. I welcome you to my class, and today I like to discuss William Blake. William Blake is called a pre-romantic poet, and during his lifetime, he was not widely read or widely recognized. And for his critical attitude towards the contemporary institutions, especially the church and political institutions, he was called mad. So William Blake was called mad. Actually, calling a person mad is one kind of politics to marginalize him or to shift the attention of the society from him to some other way. So in this way, we can criticize this kind of branding, that is calling William Blake mad. But William Blake was not mad. And today it is proved that he is one of the most powerful symbolists of his time. Even today, many poets of today's world, are directly or indirectly influenced by William Blake. Blake was born in England in 1757 and he died in 1827. So he was a contemporary of the Romantic poets, for example, William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Byron, Shelley, Keats. Though he was a contemporary of these Romantic poets, he was different from them. Regarding his diction, if you think of his poem, you will find that his diction is totally different. His poems are written in the form of songs, and the undercurrent of his poems is also politically very, very sharp and politically socio-economically very conscious. So Blake is a very conscious poet. He is conscious of injustice, persecution, and any sort of injustice exercised upon the common people of his time. And you know that during his lifetime, industrialization was rampant. That is, industrialization was going on. It seems the celebration of industrialization was going on. Industrialization brought luxury, prosperity, solvency, but at the same time, it brought social discrimination, economic discrimination. People were compartmentalized in society. The society was divided into two dominant classes. One is haves and the other is have-nots. William Blake was always enunciating his voice in favor of the have-nots. Not only that, he was also very, very critical about the role of the church. And for that reason, we call him a religious reformer. So why do we call him a religious reformer? Or what particular impetus worked on him or stimulated him to be a reformer? He was a reformer because he was influenced by French Revolution. He was also influenced by American Revolution. And you know that at that time, French Revolution was going on, and it occurred in 1789. And three principles, fraternity, equality, and liberty, brought about a kind of vibration in the life of the middle class people, and it also brought a kind of trepidation in the life of the educated people. Even the lower class people, the working class people, were also inspired to participate in the revolution. because the philosophic development of that time embraced the people, influenced the people to be conscious of their rights, or to be conscious of the persecution, injustice exercised upon the common people by the ruling class people. So Blake was not alienated from the influence or from the impact of the society. So he was also very much reactionary. That is, he responded to the air of his days. And for that reason, he could become a reformer, a religious reformer, a social reformer, a political reformer also. Now I like to draw your attention to the poem, The Holy Thursday. Most probably you informed your guide teacher that this very poem is left out, most probably due to the lack of sufficient time, or due to the corona pandemic. This poem was not read. So I just like to give you some ideas about this poem. Holy Thursday, this is a religious day, the Ascension Day of Jesus Christ. You know that Jesus Christ was crucified, and afterwards he was engraved in a cave of a hill. But after 40 days, it was found that his dead body was not there. That is, he ascended to God. The virtuous Christians believed that he ascended to God. So Holy Thursday is the Ascension Day of Jesus Christ. And on this day, the church celebrates different rituals in honor of Jesus Christ. So on that very particular day, that is on Holy Thursday, some children were taken to a particular place for prayer. And these children were heading towards that very particular place for prayer, just like the river Thames. As the Thames is flowing towards the sea, Mediterranean Sea, similarly, the children were also heading towards the Mediterranean Sea. That is, they were heading towards that very particular place of prayer. But Blake is not such an easy poet or easy man to describe this very scene naively or innocently. Actually, we have to take Blake's treatment of this particular incident very critically. Blake means to say that these children are deprived children. They are orphans, and they live in orphanages. And they are participating in the rituals organized by St. Paul Cathedral. Blake actually draws our attention to the cause of poverty that compelled these children to go to the orphanage. So why are these children living in the orphanage? These children are living in the orphanage because their parents are poor. And social injustice is at the zenith, that is at the climax. So these children were deprived of all the facilities, all the fundamental rights of the society. Their parents are workers in the factory, in mills. They are forced to leave their children in the orphanage. So outwardly, you may think that these children are very happy, but they are not happy at all, because they are to live with their parents. They are to live like the other children, the children of the haves of the society. But very unfortunately, these children are forced to live in the orphanage. They are living in the margin of the society. So what is the cause of their such predicament? The cause of their such predicament is the political exploitation, religious exploitation. And this exploitation is mostly done in the name of religion, in the name of Christianity. For that reason, William Blake has criticized the church So just think how brave Blake is. He is speaking against a religious institution of the country. The man who speaks the truth is usually called or branded as mad in our society. This is a kind of politics only to divert the attention of the society from that very man, that is from the true speaker to some other place. For that reason, Blake has very powerfully criticized the social and economic exploitation. So in this poem, you will find two layers of interpretation. In the first layer, you will find that these children seem to be very happy. They're well dressed and they're led by a religious father to a place of prayer. But unfortunately, if you think of the other side of these children, that is the darkest aspect of the society, which compelled these children to live in the margin of the society, you will find that the exploitation is there. That is, the father and mother of these children are working in mills and factories, and they are living at the bottom of the society. They cannot cope with the necessities of their life. For that reason, they are compelled to send their children to these religious organizations or charitable organizations, for example, the orphans. So you must not think that these children are very happy and the halves of the society are very generous or liberal. You must not think like this, because these children are made poor by those halves of the society, and now those hypocritical halves are exercising their charity upon these children. They are showing that they are very magnanimous in their activities, in their charity, in their grace and pity for these children. Actually, it is nothing but, or it is next to hypocrisy. All right, so Blake is a poet like this. You must not read Blake superficially. You have to try to understand Blake's political background. And I have already said that Blake was at that time influenced by American Revolution and French Revolution. And he was also very much receptacle towards the political whereabouts, economic whereabouts, religious whereabouts of his time. For that reason, it was possible for him to write a poem like this, the poem which has highlighted the children from the margin of the society and draw the attention of his readers to the evil of the political realities of his time. So we must not think that the church is generous. We must not think that the politicians are generous. They actually staged this drama of making some people poor, and then they play the role of the heroes and shower their charity upon these poor people. It is nothing but a kind of drama. So Blake has drawn our attention to that very evil drama of the society, which is staged by the halves of the society, and which is usually divided into two major sections. One is haves and the other is have-nots. All right. So I just like to recite a few lines from this poem. Till into the high dome of Paul's, that is St. Paul's Cathedral, the like the Thames water flow. Just think of the imagery. These children are heading towards the place of prayer, just like the current of the river Thames. So Blake is a master of pictorial quality. He is producing pictures or images. Oh, what a multitude! They seemed these flowers of London town. This is irony. Flowers of London town. Flowers is a symbol of innocence, all right. And at the same time, flower is a symbol of fragility, frailty. So these children are fragile, are weak, vulnerable to the political exploitation of the leaders of the country. So they are called flowers. So they are called flowers not for their beauty, or not for their innocence. They are called flowers to criticize the political realities or the politicians, the villainy of the politicians who take a hand into the normal process of growth of these children and who compel these children to live in the orphanages, who have established mills and factories and compelled these children's parents to work in mills and factories. And those workers are given very low wages. With that very low wages, they cannot maintain their family. They cannot keep body and soul together. So they are bound to send their children to the churches. So you must not think this very incident as an alienated or a very segregated incident of the society. This is not a segregated incident. It is an outcome of the evil strategy applied by the politicians or the leaders of the country. So the process of becoming poor or being marginalized in the society, in the corner of the society, is nothing but an outcome of the dominating realities system introduced by the evil politicians and capitalists. And I already told you that that was a time of industrialization. Industrialization, you know that it is always at the hand of the capitalists. Capitalism has brought many benefits to human society. And many people, even today, believe that capitalism brought prosperity, luxury, privileges in our life. But at the same time, capitalism has ensured division in the society. The society is grossly divided into two sections. One is the rich and the other is the poor. Okay. Now I like to read a few lines. Seated in companies, they sit with radiance all their own. The harm of multitudes was there, but multitudes of lamb. You know that lamb is a dominating symbol of innocence in Blake's Songs of Innocence. Lamb is a symbol of mildness, meekness, and at the same time, lamb is a symbol of a scapegoat. I think you know the biblical story. That is, Abraham went to sacrifice his son, Ismail, you know. But lamb was used in the place of Ismail. So lamb sacrificed his life on behalf of whom? Ismail. So just if you think of this very incident politically, you will just understand how powerfully Blake has explored the significance or implication of this allegory. So what's that powerful implication? That is, the lamb became a scapegoat for another person. Suppose the politicians are exercising all sorts of evils and we are the lambs, we are the scapegoats, we are suffering. We are suffering, we are undergoing their sins, their evils. So we are lambs. We are also lambs. Why? Because we are undergoing the evils, the injustice, the evil doings of the leaders of the society. As the lamb sacrificed its life on behalf of Ismail, similarly, we are suffering on behalf of our evil politicians. Understand? Our evil social leaders. This is the message that William Blake has given. So this poem is not easy to understand. You should have a critical mind to understand this poem. All right? This is the significance of lamb. So you must not traditionally say that lamb is the symbol of innocence, mildness, meekness. What is innocence? In modern world, innocence is synonymous with ignorance. You are innocent because you are ignorant of the realities in which you are living. You are ignorant of the strategies introduced by the leaders of the society, the oppressive strategies. You are ignorant of the oppressive strategies introduced by the leaders of the society. So you are innocent. So you are innocent because you do not have any voice of protest. You are innocent because you don't shout against the injustice of the society. So you are called innocent. This is not innocence, it is a kind of ignorance. You are ignorant of your rights. You are ignorant of your duties and responsibilities. But you have branded your ignorance as a kind of innocence. All right. Actually, this is the thing that you have to explore while reading William Blake. You must not traditionally approach William Blake and call him a pre-romantic poet, or call the lamb a symbol of innocence, or call the tiger a symbol of experience. We have something more to explore. We should exercise our insight to find out or to dig out the meanings after meanings, just like the archaeologists. You have to dig out. All right. Do you have any question now? If you have any question, I like to listen to you. Miss Sumaya, do you have any question from this poem, Holy Thursday, or Shamsun Nahar? You have to speak. So anyway, the same theme.
Yes, sir.
I am making haste because you have to attend an examination. I will just provide you with all these slides, and I am now going to give you some ideas, only a few ideas from the poem London, and then we will go for the examination. All right. London. So what is this poem about? London, you know that in 18th century, London was called the center of light. Light means the light of civilization. All right. And it is a metropolitan city. And London is the seat of the colonizers. And it is also said that 86% money of the whole world is kept in the banks of London during 18th century and 19th century, especially during the time of Queen Victoria in 19th century. And in 18th century, especially in the second half of 18th century. So just think of the prosperity of London. But here, Blake has drawn our attention to the dark aspects of London. In Blake's eyes, London is a city of poverty. It is a city of the cry of the children of the prostitutes. London is the city of discrimination. London is the city of starvation. So why does Blake take such a very different or reversal role while depicting London? Because we know from history that London was at that time the seat of the imperialists, the seat of the British capitalists, the seat of the prosperity, seat of civilization, as the British people felt proud of. But very unfortunately, Blake has called London a city of discrimination, a city of pangs and agonies, anxieties. It is a city of starvation, hunger. It's a city of the cry of the bastards. It is the city of the curse from the lips of the prostitutes against the institutions of the society. So why? Because Blake, as I have already told you, that Blake is a reformer. He finds the evils of the society. Who is a poet? Actually, I just like to clarify this position of a poet. A poet is never with the bourgeois of the society. A poet is always against the bourgeois of the society. If you are a poet, you must take the opposite side of the ruling class of the society. You will find different pictures in different countries, including ours. And you must have heard the name of Adonis, Arabic poet. He once said in an interview that if you find that the prison houses of a country are not filled with the writers, poets, or creative writers or artists, then he will come to the conclusion that those poets or those artists, those writers are not speaking the truth. So who speaks the truth? A poet. A poet speaks the truth for that reason. We do not find any sort of flattery or snobbery in his attitude. So Blake is a poet like this. William Wordsworth was a broker of the monarchy of England. William Wordsworth was a broker. He was a dalal ছিলেন. He was, what should I say? He was a sycophant of British monarchy. And he was also rewarded. But Blake was totally different. William Wordsworth was rewarded. He was made the poet laureate. Okay. But Blake was not rewarded during his lifetime. He was not made poet laureate, though he had a very immense contribution to the development of romantic literary criterion, but he was not rewarded. He was not widely read during his lifetime. He was not recognized well. Actually, Blake's career was variegated career. He was a sculptor. He was a painter. He was a poet. He was an artist. So all these things have been accumulated in his work. For that reason, he became inscrutable to the readers. Blake's sculpture or his paintings are very inscrutable to the general readers or general public. And to interpret his paintings, Blake took up the pen and he started writing. So Blake's inspiration came from within, that you find in the poem introduction in Songs of Innocence. That is, a shepherd boy is coming down from a hill, and suddenly he saw a boy in the cloud, and the boy inspired the shepherd boy to sing a song. So the shepherd boy sings a song. And ultimately, the boy in the cloud, that is that very angelic figure, inspired the shepherd boy to write the song. So he writes the song. What does it mean? It means that Blake got his inspiration to write from within. You must not call it a Christian poem, or you must not call it a religious poem. Blake was not a religious poet. He was a religious reformer. Understand? You must not brand him as a religious poet. He was a religious reformer. So that very allegorical poem, that is introduction of Songs of Innocence, interprets that Blake got his inspiration of writing poem from within. And many people call it a mystic inspiration. That is, inspiration comes from heaven. But actually, a poet's heaven is his own conscious. A poet's heaven lies in his consciousness. You must not surrender your consciousness to an invisible force and flatter the ruling class people, the political exploiters of a nation, of a country. Actually, Blake is a poet like this. So if you want to understand Blake, you have to be acquainted with the realities, political realities, social realities, and economic realities of the time during which Blake was writing. All right. So now I like to read a few lines from here. I wander through each chartered street, near where the chartered Thames does flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of weakness, marks of woe. In every man, in every cry of every man. So just think how Blake truthfully, very confidently throws light on the morbid or dark aspects of the city, which feels proud of its civilization, which feels proud of its progress and prosperity. Just think how powerfully and truthfully, courageously Blake reveals the darkness just below the light. Actually, this is the function of a poet. A poet's eyes are never dazzled by the artificial brightness or brilliance organized or arranged by the ruling class people of the country. A poet's eyes are always fixed upon the hypocritical role of these people. Okay, so Blake does not think of, or he does not speak about the brilliance of London city. He speaks about the darkness of the city of London. Actually, this is the duty of a poet. Remember this. In every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forced manacles I hear. So in every voice, in every face, he sees anxiety, hunger, starvation. Okay, how the chimney sweepers cry. Every blackening church apart. Blackening church. Just think of the epithet used just before the word church. Church usually feels proud of its civilizing mission, that is enlightening mission. But Blake has called it blackening church. That is, church was used as an institution to exploit the people. Blake has revealed that very particular aspect of the church. He has unveiled the darkness of the church. And the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls, but most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlots, harlots means prostitutes, blasts the newborn infant's tear. The bleeds with plagues the Mary's hears. So the prostitution is the creation of the society. Why do women go to the brothels? The women go to the brothels because they are made to go to the brothel. They are forced to go to the brothel. No woman go to the brothel willingly. If a woman goes to the brothel, then the blame goes to the socio-economic system of the country. The system has forced her to do that very prohibited job or unlawful job, obnoxious or nefarious job. So Blake has drawn our attention not to the prostitutes, but to the causes behind the emergence of prostitution in a society. Okay. So I think you have got the points that I have tried to highlight, and I have put some questions here on the slide, and I will upload these slides very soon on your page. Okay, so thank you very much. Now we will go for examination. For the last minute, if you have any question, please give me a question. Do you have any question from anybody? No question? Shamsun Nahar, do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Then Tahsin Tabassum, do you have any question?
স্যার স্লাইড গুলা কি আবার দেখানো যাবে?
Oh, sure. Why not? This is the first.
Elam sir, sorry to interrupt, because they are supposed to start their exam. Already some of the students have started writing their answers. It is better to end the class here.
Okay, thank you very much. So dear students, thank you very much for your participation.
Sir, I have submitted the answer. Is there any problem?
Okay, no problem. you will have to see that the answers have been submitted.
Okay.
This
Uh,
link will expire after 6:50 p.m. So you'll have
Okay,
to
sir.
end your exam within this time.
Okay, sir. We submitted already.
Thank you.
So, but,
Okay. Thank you very much.
sir, but no notification came.
Okay, so whenever you see that it has been submitted, that means it is submitted. You don't need to see any other notification.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, so I'd like to end our class here. Elam sir, your time is also up. It will be disconnected within a minute.
Yes, that
So
was made. I will.
I think you don't have any problem in answering the questions.
Should I reconnect after 1 minute?
No reconnection needed.
Okay.
You can end the class here.
Okay. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All
স্যার
of-
আপনি আছেন?
Yes.
না ইতিহাস স্যার, আমার হচ্ছে ওই যে ভাইয়ের পিক থেকে জয়েন করতেছি, তো আমি ঢুকতেই পারতেছি না লিংকে।
অনেকেই কানেক্ট হয়েছে, দেখো ট্রাই করো আবার, তোমার মেসেঞ্জারের লিংকটা
স্যার
দিয়েছি।
আমি তো একবার সাবমিট করে দিয়েছি স্যার, আরেকবার
একবার
কি
করলে
করবো?
আর লাগবে না, ওয়ান টাইম ইজ ইনাফ। আর কেউ
স্যার,
ফুল স্টপ লেখার পরে
করবো আমি মানে পারতেছি না।